15U girls gold medal action in the Conexus Volleyball Championships. It's Ryan Schweitzer along with Britt Marshall. We got two of the smaller Saskatchewan cities going head-to-head for the big gold here. We have the Sundogs program out of Swift Current taking on the Weyburn Rush. What are you anticipating from this 15U gold medal matchup, Britt Marshall?
Oh boy, I just hope these girls are still awake. We've been waiting a couple hours to get this match going. So, I think both really good programs. It'll be nice to see a little small town matchup here.
For sure. Sundogs and the Weyburn Rush good to go. These teams have seen a lot of each other. Talking to some of the Sundog parents up here, Sundogs have beaten Weyburn, although typically Weyburn does seem to get the better of the Sundogs when they play for the most part, but we'll see. Blake Walbaum will serve first for the Weyburn Rush in the far court, and the gray and purple Sundogs in the forefront of your screen. Both teams are chatting it up, and they are good to go. It's been a long day and a long wait, but they are finally on the court. First serve is just out of bounds from Walbaum. It's a quick 1-0 lead for the Sundogs as Brooklyn Chufu set to serve. With her team up by 1. Plenty of energy on the court right now, perhaps a little bit of nervous energy. Chufu sends it in. Weyburn has to chase after that ball, and after the third hit, they'll get it over. Chufu, played by Freeman. Tipped over the net by Keln, and inbounds. Quick 2-0 lead for the Sundogs.
Yeah, that was a good heads-up play by Kellen. I think she saw the big blockers and made a smart decision there.
Riley Keln, as you mentioned, heads-up play, tipping it over top of the block. 2-0 lead for the Sundogs. Brooklyn Chufu. Her team up a couple. Just over the net. Big hit from Weyburn as J.C. Rowland sends it into the top of the net. Sundogs up a quick 3 here in the early goings of this first set. Played by Weyburn. Third hit. Sent just a bit too far. Weyburn appealing for a tip as Chandler Dickey sent that over the block and out of bounds. 4-0 lead. Sundogs leading the Weyburn Rush. Sent over on the third hit. Diving play by Haven Carson. And pushed over the net by Chufu. Teams jousting at the net. That's going to carry out of bounds, pinballing its way through the Weyburn court. Sundogs up 5-0. If you're Luke Getz, the coach of Weyburn, are you thinking timeout?
Oh, maybe not quite yet. Maybe one more. Gotta get out of serve receive. It's really early in the match, so probably not. They probably just need to get a rhythm going.
Brooklyn Chufu sends that to the back. Played by Piper Abel. Sent over the net by Chandler Dickey. Sundogs get it to Keln. Keln drills it off the opposition. And it's a quick 6-0 lead for Swifty. Plenty of talk still coming from both benches. Chufu. Battle at the net. Weyburn recovers. And they're not quite able to push it over. Called on the carry, and the Sundogs up a touchdown here early, a converted touchdown.
Yeah, definitely. I think the Sundogs are going to have to key on that number 8 on Weyburn. It's been a good key asset for them this season and this tournament.
Weyburn running around a little bit here, trying to keep up with the Sundogs. And some frustration starting to show over on Weyburn, and with the score 8.
Yeah, a good time to timeout.
With the score 8-0, Luke Guest is going to call his timeout, and some clear frustration on the Weyburn side of the court as that is not how they planned coming out here. Quick side out for the Sundogs, and then 7 serves coming from Brooklyn Chufu. Gold medal final, 15U girls. Will it be a rush to the podiums, or will the Sundogs have their day here at the Hank Rise Soccer Center in Saskatoon? So far, so good for Swifty in the black and yellow. Head coach Sean Hebert trying to keep the energy going on his bench. We talked about it before. These teams, for lack of a better term, kind of frozen coming in here as they expected to be on the court about an hour earlier, but a lot of 3-set matchups have kind of prolonged the volleyball day here. What's it like for a coach keeping your team ready in that situation?
Yeah, you got to find some creative ways to keep your team focused on volleyball, that's for sure. And maybe sometimes it's a little bit of a distraction, take them outside or do something different. But yeah, it looks like maybe the Sundogs are a little bit more focused right now.
Brooklyn Chufu sends that over the net. Weyburn trying to get 3 hits as Roland smashes that over the net and in. Weyburn rush looking for a spark, and J.C. Roland may have provided that. J.C. Roland, you touched on it earlier, a key part of Weyburn. And the rush. Carson, Chufu, and Carson will send that over the net. Pushed back over the head of Roland. She takes. And now Weyburn with consecutive points. 2 serving 8. J.C. Roland sends it over. Sundogs take. It drifts out of bounds as Haven Carson and Brielle Wall both hold off. And now Ariel Freeman will serve with her team up 7. 9 serving 2. Freeman drills it to the back of the court. Weyburn setting up Chandler for that hit. Chandler Dickey. Riley Keln just over her head as she was unable to tip that over top of the blockers. 3 serving 9, an emotional game as Megan Schmidt now serving for the rush. Schmidt, Chufu, Freeman. Chufu back row. Sends it through the court. Schmidt to serve again. Keln. Teams battle at the net. It lands on the Swift Current side. Now 9-5, Weyburn clawing their way back in.
Yeah, the pass was a little tight to the net. Tough for the setter to get in a position to set the ball.
Megan Schmidt. Keln reaches up for it. Saved by Wall and sent over the net by Freeman. Blocked at the net. Hannah Clausen with the block. Weyburn doesn't have an answer for it. 10-5 Sundogs. Hannah Clausen with that big block moments ago to serve now. Played by Blake Walbaum of Weyburn and pushed over the net by Harmony Granger. Sent over the net by Wall. Brielle Wall goes up. Puts it over the block. 11-5 lead for the Sundogs. And that ball is in. Serve sent to the back of the court by Hannah Clausen. Weyburn holds off on it, and it's a 12-5 lead for the Sundogs. Roland. As they set up Chandler Dickey. Freeman. Keln. Down the line and in. Riley Keln finds a good spot at the back of the court.
Yeah, it's a good line shot.
Riley Keln helping her team to a 8-point lead here. The energy is palpable for this final. Served just over the net by Clausen. They're going to set up Chandler Dickey. Dickey, played by Carson. Keln, Wall, sends it to the back where Roland sets. Tipped over, blocked by Wall. Roland back row hit, played by Chufu. Whistle is blown.
Back row attack on Weyburn, I guess. I'm not quite sure. I didn't see that one.
14-5, Sundogs lead it. Hannah Clausen, just over the net. Sent right back to the Sundog side. Freeman, Wall off the block. Roland. They're going to set up Dickey. Dickey through the block. Carson's going to get called on the lift there as she tried to quickly recover after the block. And it's 14-6 with Chandler Dickey serving now for Weyburn. Dickey to serve, just over the tape. Chufu gets a piece of it. Freeman keeps it up and sent over the net by Clausen. Schmidt gets that ball to Granger, who tips it over. Now Keln off the net and not off any Weyburn players. And it's 14-7 Swift Current now. Chandler Dickey serving for Weyburn. Float serve, Clausen, Freeman, Wall. And looked like a player was on the net for Swift Current. 14-8 as Weyburn sneaking back into this.
Yeah, they've got a serve going. Momentum shift here. See what Sundogs can do.
Chandler Dickey with another serve. Float serve. Off of the Sundog player. $14-9 now. And that's one way to bust up the serve of Chandler Dickey. 15-9 the score. Sundogs looking to get that 7-point lead back. Keln to serve. Roland holds off on the Keln serve. And now 15-10 with Piper Abel serving now for Weyburn. Abel. Take by the Sundogs. A lot of adrenaline thrown through these girls.
A game of serves right now.
16-10, the Sundogs lead it. Piper Abel out. Shaylin Smith is in now for Weyburn. Haven Carson serving for Swift Current. Carson booms that.
I think that's 4 in a row there, Ryan. Maybe 5. Maybe 5 missed serves in a row.
Well, it's the energy in here is palpable. Both benches are really, really talkative, so the adrenaline flowing maybe more than it normally would, especially in this gold medal game. Keln, Carson, and sent over by Chufu. Schmidt setting up Roland off the block. Sundogs try for a dig and not able to get to it. Harmony Granger serving for Weyburn. Played by Carson, Freeman, and Chufu pushes that to the back. Good heads-up play by Chufu. No personnel in that back corner. It's a tough play for Weyburn to make.
Yeah, that was a pretty smart play by 9.
Substitution coming in for the Sundogs is Peyton Stenson. Brielle Wall will sub out. Stenson will serve. 17-12. Sundog lead. Peyton Stenson hammers that ball over. And Chandler Dickey sends it over for Weyburn. Chufu, third hit, sends it down. Good play back row by Dickey. Ball is through the court, off of nobody, and 18-12. Sundog lead with Peyton Stenson to serve again. Roland. They'll set up Roland. She'll hit it to Keln. Freeman pushes it to the back, recovered by Weyburn. And sent over the net by Blake Wallbaum. Now Chufu. Dug by Weyburn. Sent over and out of bounds by Blake Wallbaum. Not off of any Sundog players, and it's 19-12 Swift Current. Peyton Stenson. And Stenson giving Weyburn the ball back. Blake Wallbaum. Carson. Chufu. Sent over to Clausen. Dickey. Quick to Roland. Dug by Keln. Chufu. And Carson. Just getting underneath that a bit much and sending it through the court. Weyburn gets a point. Wallbaum to serve again. Wallbaum. Chufu. Freeman. And Chufu. Off of the bump. And Swift Current hits 20. 20 serving 14 with Brooklyn Chufu set to serve.
Yeah, I think Weyburn has to make sure they get their offense in check. There's still a couple too many errors for Weyburn. See what they do here.
Brooklyn Chufu serves. Roland. Setting up Dickey. Dickey off the net. Gets the ball back. Go the way of the Sundogs. 4 hits called on Weyburn.
Bush doesn't like that one.
Luke Guest, coach of Weyburn, not agreeing with that assessment. Brooklyn Chufu with her team up 7, 21 serving 14. Just over the net. Good serve by Chufu, but it's dug out by Weyburn. Roland. What a presence, JC Roland. 21-15. Weyburn changing up their personnel as Piper Abel comes back in. Shaylin Smith is out. JC Roland to serve with her team down 15-21. Serve. Sent over. And it looks like one of the Weyburn players was on the net.
I don't think Luke's going to like that one either.
Let's go, girls!
I don't think he's liking much about this first set. 22-15.
There's a lot not going their way.
Ariel Freeman just over the net. Good recovery on that by Roland. So that ball changed directions on her. Now the Sundogs with it. Haven Carson is going to send it over. Roland digs that out. And pushed over by Blake Wallbaum. Freeman setting up Hannah Clausen. Didn't quite have their timing down on that one. And Weyburn trying to claw their way back into this first set here. Megan Schmidt to serve. Keln. Freeman. Clausen. Clausen doing a good job of finding some vacant tiles at the back. 23-16.
Yeah, it was a good line shot. I'm not sure she meant for it to go there, but it was a good shot.
Got to be good to be lucky and lucky to be good, as Hannah Clausen will serve now after a substitution. Stenson out. Brielle Wall back in. 23-16. Roland. And sent over the net by Wallbaum. Sundogs chasing after it, and Freeman will send it over on the third hit. Roland at the back. They set up Dickey down the line. Chandler Dickey delivering a good line shot. And Weyburn not done yet. Chandler Dickey now to serve. Chufu, Freeman, and Wall. Dugout. Push to the back. Heads up play by Hannah Clausen, recovered by Weyburn. And sent over the net by Wallbaum. Wallbaum off of Chufu. And Sean Hebert's going to call a timeout with Weyburn building some momentum in the score, 23-18. Sundogs have led by 7 consistently in this. Weyburn has narrowed the gap to 5. Sean Hebert calling a timeout and trying to settle his girls down here.
Yeah, I think Sundogs are playing some pretty good defense. Weyburn has some strong attackers, so as long as they can keep it clean and smart, then yeah, they're definitely still a threat.
Sundogs 2 points away from a first set win, but they'd certainly love to keep momentum on their side going into that second set. 23-18 for Swift. Luke Guest, coach of Weyburn. He's had a few bounces not go his way in the first set here. The rush from Weyburn, the Sundogs from Swift Current. Chandler Dickey. Dickey on a roll, serving for Weyburn over the past few points. See if that timeout busted up her rhythm at all. Serves it to Chufu. Freeman. Wall. To Rowland. Chasing after that is Schmidt, and pushed over by Rowland to the back of the court. Chufu digs it out. Sent over the net by the Sundogs, but out of bounds. And Weyburn's going to get another point, and it's going to be another serve for Chandler Dickey.
Yeah, I think Chandler has a pretty good run with this serve right now.
Sundogs would like nothing better right now than to bust up that run as Dickey sends it over. Clausen. Freeman. Chufu pushes it to the back of the court. Dickey setting up wall bomb. Blocked by Wall. And the Sundogs will get a point. 4 hits called for Weyburn, and the Sundogs a point away.
Wall puts up a wall. Ha!
Bomb, yeah. The Berlin wall bomb. We're trying here. Riley Callan sends it in. That's off of Rowland. Sent back in, and Rowland will push it over. However, Rowland will be called on the carry as she was a little bit sideways. And the Sundogs will take a 19-25 first set win. Your thoughts on what we saw out there, Britt?
That was a good effort by the Sundogs. I think Weyburn's definitely maybe got some things rolling now. Woke up a bit from the first few points of the first set. So we'll see how this next one goes.
Sundogs end up taking it 25-19 in the first set of this gold medal 15U girls final. A convincing first set Sundog win as they got up to an 8-0 lead and never really looked back after that. Set number 2, though, can often be a whole other ball game as we get set to go here in the 15U Division I girls final here. The Sundogs from Swift Current and the rush from Weyburn. What do the Sundogs have to do to keep this momentum going from that first set win?
They just got to keep doing what they've been doing and just be ready to respond with Weyburn, picking it up a little bit now.
Brooklyn Chufu to serve for Swift Current. Both teams keeping pretty much the same lineup out there as they did for the first set as J.C. Rowland pushes that to the back of the court where Brielle Wall plays it. Ariel Freeman to Riley Keln. Gets underneath it and sends it far, and this time around Weyburn gets on the board first. As the rush side of the court is electrified after that point, and now Blake Wallbaum to serve. Carson, Freeman, Keln, Dickey. And they're going to set up Chandler Dickey. Far side, good shot by Dickey over the block and painting that far corner. And now quick 2-0 Weyburn lead.
Yeah, I think the Sundogs played a little bit too shallow in the court there. Left a lot behind them.
Blake Wallbaum with her team up 2. Sends it over. Chufu, Ariel Freeman, and Riley Keln. However, the referee pointing out that one of the Sundogs was encroaching in Weyburn's area.
There must be a fan over there. Seems like they're always in the net over there on that side.
Weyburn up 3-0. Carson. And a double hit there for the Sundogs. And the starts almost mirror images. Last game we saw the Sundogs get up to a quick 8-0 lead. Weyburn's on road to 1 here, up 4. Blake Wallbaum. Chufu. Freeman. Set up Keln. Keln sends it over. Chasing after that is Weyburn. Third hit. And Rowland sends it over. Chufu. Freeman. Clausen out of bounds. Sundogs try to put a play together. Sails out of bounds, and it's a 5-0 lead for Weyburn. Blake Wallbaum off of a Sundog player. And the lead for Weyburn is 6. Carson, Freeman, and Chufu sends that not quite over. 7-0 Weyburn, mirror images of last game. And Weyburn called their timeout trailing by 8. Sundogs will do it trailing by 7 as Sean Hebert will try and settle his girls down as they trail now by a converted touchdown.
Yeah, they're just up against a pretty tough server right now. She's got a handle on her serves, and yeah, like you said, mirror image of what happened earlier, but now the reverse.
Sean Hebert, Travis Keln, and Liam Chufu, coach of the Sundogs. Great start in set 1 for the Swift Current squad. Great start in set 2 for the Weyburn team. And we see Luke Guest and company in the Weyburn Grays. Yeah, Luke didn't have much to smile about in set 1, but I think he's in a much better mood now.
I think so too.
We'll see if the Rush can keep the momentum going or if that pep talk from Sean Hebert and company will get the Dogs feeling ferocious. As Blake Wallbaum served for 6 points here. Carson forcing her team to give chase. And the lead for the Rush is 8. Wallbaum serves. Freeman over to Keln off the block. Wallbaum is there. And they set up Chandler Dickey, who palms that over. Carson with it. Freeman gives chase. And Wall sends it over the net on hit 3. Rowland tries to tip it over. And it'll be a point for Weyburn. What did you see there, Britt?
I think maybe Klassen was over the net there. Yeah, I didn't see it.
The assessment was that a Swift Current player was over the net, and now it's 9-0 Weyburn with Wallbaum still serving. Couple of Sundogs both go after that. And a tale of 2 sets here in the 15U final. Wall, Freeman, Keln, played by Dickey. Rowland swats that ball down. And it's 11-0 Weyburn. Rowland just feeling it. Keln tries to dig that out near the bench. And Blake Wallbaum has helped her team to a 12-point lead. Wallbaum. Another serve. Sundogs giving chase. And everything's coming up Weyburn. Going to see a couple substitutions now. As for the junior Sundogs, Savannah Banks is going to check in. And so is Peyton Stenson. So Banks and Stenson check in. Now Swift Current changes the look up a little bit. Blake Walbaum has been dealing. 12 points from Walbaum's serve, just over the net. Wall, Freeman, and pushed over by Banks. Roland, and they set up Dickey off the block and out of bounds. And right now Weyburn just finding ways to get points.
Yeah, a little bit. Definitely on a serving run right now, and I mean, what Sundogs coach made a few changes, and that was pretty much all you can do. And they catch a break, catch a huge break.
Well, that's big for the Sundogs. Blake Walbaum, and lots of Weyburn fans and parents here applauding Walbaum. Side out and 13 points from the serve of Walbaum. And now the Sundogs respond as Roland dived after that serve that really went across the court from Ariel Freeman. And the Sundogs on the board now with a couple points. It's 14-2. Freeman sends it in. Granger sends that back, and now held over by Roland. Keln pushes it to the back of the court, and that one just walks the line. Point for the Sundogs. As Freeman tries to help her team back into this second set. Dickey, Wall, and now Keln. It's going to be a point to Weyburn. Sundogs called on the carry. 15-3, Jenna Sabin's going to check in for the Sundogs. As she comes in for Freeman. J.C. Rowland serving for Weyburn. Rowland drills that between a couple of Sundog players.
Atta girl, JC. Keep it going, girl.
16-3. Weyburn lead. Good serve. Sabin tries to pull that off of the net. 17-3. And a timeout called by the Sundogs. And J.C. Rowland and the Weyburn Rush mean business here in the second set.
Absolutely. Sundogs need to make sure they're getting some passes and able to make some plays right now and serve receive. Just struggling with that hard serve, and I think that hard serve comes from the fact that they didn't, Weyburn struggle in the first set and kind of made me mad.
Well,
maybe throwing some aggression. So.
The team is often a reflection of the coach, and I know that Luke Guest certainly wasn't happy after that first set, and that motivation may have trickled down a little bit. We'll use the term motivation for that. Whatever works. As his team, they're coming out and they mean business in this second set, as is evident by that 17-3 score. When they come back out, J.C. Rowland will be serving. You see her there on the right side of the screen. And that is somebody, when she's on the court, you can tell she's a competitive athlete. A rare smile from Rowland out there, as she usually saves that for after her team ends up getting a W. 17-3 the score. And Rowland doesn't hit that off the hand quite the way as she would have wanted. Sundogs catch a bit of a break, 17-4 with Hannah Clausen serving. Clausen sends that over. Dickey, Schmidt, Dickey off the block. Sabin recovers. They battle at the net. Banks tips it over. Referee blows the whistle. Weyburn player on the net. And consecutive points for the Sundogs. Something for them to build on now, possibly.
Yeah, I think they need some confidence here, so maybe it'll come in serves. We'll see.
Clausen serves to Rowland. Dickey, and Rowland will push that to the back. Wall, Banks, Keln over everyone, and nobody touches on the Weyburn side. And 18 serving 5. Megan Schmidt to serve. Megan Schmidt pushes that to the back. However, the Sundogs, it looks like they have players out of rotation. And that's a tough break for the Sundogs after Megan Schmidt sailed that serve long. 19-5. And Schmidt's serve this time pinballing off a couple of Sundog players. "25 points in this second set, 20 of them for the Weyburn Rush." Played by Keln. Sabin at the net. Wall palms it over. Dickey blocked by Banks. Ball lands inbounds on the Sundog side. And it's 21-5. Carson and Chufu are going to check back in for the Sundogs. As Megan Schmidt serving for Weyburn. Weyburn 4 points away from a second set victory. Off of Clausen, and it's 22-5 Weyburn. Chufu, Sabin, and Wall helps it over. Schmidt is there. They set up Dickey off the block. Sundogs get the ball back. 22-6 as Ariel Freeman subs back in for Sabin. And Riley Keln will serve for Swift Current. Keln, float serve. That changed directions a few times en route to its destination. And the Sundogs trailing now 22-7 after that serve from Keln. Played by Roland. Schmidt. Dickey. Freeman saves it. And pushed over the net by Keln. Schmidt sets up Dickey. And it looked as though one of the Swift Current players was on the net anyway, and it'll be 23-7 for Weyburn.
Okay, here we go. Let's go.
Chandler Dickey with her team just a couple points away from taking a second set victory here. Sends that into the net. Sundogs get a break, 23-8. It's going to be a high degree of difficulty for Swift to come back in this one, but really just hoping for momentum to carry on to the next set at this point, I would think, Britt?
Yeah, agreed. I think at a time like this, you maybe would want to see a leader step up, and yeah, it's looking like it's difficult for him right now to find that leader.
Let's go, girl.
Piper able to serve now for Weyburn with the score 24-8. Abel, Carson. A second set win for Weyburn. If you're the Swift Current Sundogs, how important is it to have a short memory going into the third set?
Very important. Very important. I think, really, it's all about serve receive. Sundogs just had a real tough time passing those serves and couldn't get anything going, and Weyburn took advantage of it. So that's the conversation. I'm 100% sure that it's, get a pass first and then go from there. But Weyburn looked pretty hot in that one, so we'll see his third one.
Really interesting to see that there weren't a lot of personnel changes on either side. Swift Current with such a convincing set one win, and then Weyburn really pulling it off in set two. What do you think was the turning point and the major difference between set one and two?
For Weyburn, I think that I think it was just attitude. They didn't come out super strong, and they knew it, and they took they took initiative and just decided to turn it around, and they did, and that really helped them in the second set.
Third set, race to 15, a convincing set 1 win for the Swift Current Sundogs, a emphatic set 2 win for the Weyburn Rush to get us here for this third set. No major personnel changes on either side.
Here we go, guys. Third round, right away. Let's go.
Race to 15. First team to 15 goes home with gold medals. Blake Walbaum, who helped the Rush to a 14-point run in set number 2, will serve off here. Swift Current will get off easy this time in dealing with Walbaum. And we'll see if Swift Current can hold Weyburn accountable for that missed serve. Haven Carson, with nerves going and chatter aplenty on the court. Harmony Granger. Keln gets it and sent over, but a bit too much on that ball from Hannah Clausen. Nice recovery by the Sundogs. After that ball careened to the back of the court, Keln and Clausen trying to get it back. 1-1 the score. J.C. Rowland serving now for Weyburn. Rowland just over the net. Chufu, Freeman, and Chufu. Third hit sends it over. Weyburn again setting up Dickey as they have so much. Through Carson. Off of Clausen, sent over by Wall. Now Dickey sends it over, blocked at the net by Swift Current. Weyburn retreats and sends it out of bounds. 2-1 lead for Swift Current. And Swift Current going to make a substitution as Peyton Stenson will come in to serve where Brielle Wall was. Wall will hand her the ball with Swifty up 2-1. Peyton Stenson. Float serve. And a hard to return ball coming in from Stenson.
Good serving sub there, I think. Can get a few more.
Yeah, Sean Hebert, the coach, looking good after making that substitution. That ball just sailing less than an inch over the tape. Float serve comes in. Dickey, Schmidt, and sent over by Abel. Backcourt Keln, Freeman. Chufu, whistle blows, point Weyburn. 2 hits called by both officials. And Megan Schmidt will serve with her team trailing 3-2. Third set, sprint to 15. Sends it over the net, Chufu, Freeman, and Clausen sends it over. Pushed over and recovered by Harmony Granger. Chufu digs it out of the net and pushed over by Stenson. Weyburn leaves it, falls out of bounds. 3-3 as these teams battle for momentum. Megan Schmidt to serve. Miscommunication by the Sundogs on that float serve that changed direction a couple times, and Weyburn has their first lead of this third set. It's 4-3 for the Rush. Just over the net, played by Keln, Freeman, Clausen. 5-3 lead for Weyburn.
Yeah, I mean, the Sundogs got to do what they can to get out of serve receive and make sure they don't get, too far ahead of themselves. And
serve comes over. Carson. Freeman sends it back to Chufu, who just tips it over the block. Nice set by Ariel Freeman to get that ball to Brooklyn Chufu to send it just over top of the opposition blockers. 5-4. Chufu, float serve. Weyburn recovers. Chases after it, and a good recovery by Dickey. Chufu, Freeman to Keln off the block. Pushed over by Granger. Now Keln. Diving play by Walbaum. Not quite able to get to it after laying it on the line. You can tell both teams really want this gold.
Yeah, definitely. I think Swift Current's picked it up, and Rush is still at their same level, so this is a good third set.
Brooklyn Chufu. Float serve. Schmidt back to Dickey. Diving play by Chu Fu. And it's a 6-5 Weyburn lead.
Here you go, Chandler. Here you go. Here you go, Chandler.
Chandler Dickey to serve. Carson chasing after it is Stenson, and Chu Fu will send it over on the third hit. Wallbaum. Wallbaum set up, pushes it to the back. Stenson, Freeman, and Kelm tips it over off of a Weyburn player. Side out Swift Current. Freeman to serve. An emotional third set between the Sundogs from Swift Current and the Rush from Weyburn. Freeman. Roland and Dickey go after it, and sent over the net by Wallbaum. Freeman. Kelm. Diving stab at it by Dickey. Couldn't quite make it in time. (7-6) Swift Current lead. Freeman. Roland. Abel. And pushed over by Wallbaum. Backcourt Stenson. Freeman. Keln. Off the block. Roland. Schmidt. Wallbaum. Chu Fu. Out of bounds. 7 apiece in this final. What a game.
Yeah, a lot of confidence now from both teams, showing a lot of confidence in what they've done all year, and yeah, it's fun to watch.
Both teams have had positives, both teams have had negatives to work through in this final. Piper Abel just over the net. Chu Fu digs it out. Back set. Clausen off the block. Dickey. Schmidt. Wallbaum blocked. Freeman pushes it to the back. Dickey's there. Roland tips it over. It's blocked. Good play at the net by Riley Keln to not allow that ball passage over the net. We'll rotate sides as the Sundogs win the race to 8 here in this third set. Well, I think the Sundogs did a good job of, as we talked about after that second set, having a short memory here in this third set, able to take an 8-7 lead in a very competitive game here.
Yeah, a testament to them. It could go either way, right? After that second set, you can either give up or keep going.
Well, it's not how hard you hit, it's how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward, and the Sundogs got hit pretty hard in that second set. And now the teams will change sides. Sundogs with an 8-7 lead. They will serve. Brielle Wall will come in where Peyton Stenson was. Stenson come in to serve. Nope. Referees making sure all the girls are where they need to be here. And now we'll see that Stenson for Wall swap. (8-7) score, favoring the Sundogs. Third set, 15U girls gold. Ryan Schweitzer along with Britt Marshall from the Henk Rise Soccer Center in beautiful Saskatoon. Hannah Clausen to serve for Swifty. 8-7. Clausen sends it over, played by Dickey. And sent over the net by Wallbaum. Set up Wall. Weyburn keeps it going. And pushed over by Schmidt. Freeman. Setting up Keln, who tips it over. Schmidt is there. Roland booms that ball out of bounds, and it's a 9-7 lead for the Sundogs. Hannah Clausen serving. Clausen Good serve. 3 hits for Weyburn as Roland sends it over. Freeman at the net, setting up Keln. Was that off a block, though? No, it wasn't. No tips. And Harmony Granger to serve. 9-8 in this doozy of a final. Chufu. Freeman. Wall. Backcourt. Chandler Dickey. Wall bomb. Freeman. And Keln hits. Dug by Shaylin Smith. And Roland sends it over. Carson. Keln tips. Ball still alive. No, it's not. Lands on Weyburn's side. Point Sundogs. 10-8 Swift Current with Riley Keln serving.
Yeah, both teams are just going after it. Good attacks at the net, playing smart.
Keln. Now Wallbaum to serve. Wallbaum's serve gave the Sundogs fit in the second set. See if they've made the necessary adjustments to deal with it here in the third set. And it's a point for Weyburn. Blake Wallbaum, 10 apiece here in set 3. Carson, Freeman, and Keln pushes it to the back. Wallbaum, Schmidt, Roland, blocked by Wall. Wall sends it over. Roland pushes it to the back. Reaching for it was Clausen, and a good heads-up play by J.C. Roland. And the score now 11-10 for Weyburn. Blake Wallbaum. Keln. Freeman. Chufu to the back of the court. Schmidt. Roland tips. Great heads-up play by J.C. Roland.
That's tough. That's tough. That was a good effort there by Clausen, I think.
Going all out to try and get that dig. 12-10 lead, Weyburn. Blake Wallbaum. Sean Hebert wanted a time.
The up ref already called the serve in, so.
Wallbaum will get to serve it. Keln. Carson. And Keln, free ball, pushes it to the back of the court for Granger. Roland! And are they ruling that Roland was on the net?
That's a tough break for Weyburn. It was a good 30, and I think there'll be some discussion here between Luke and the referees.
Timeout called by the Sundogs. Luke Guest.
Some polite discussion, of course.
Yeah, very polite, I can tell, but that was a high impact play by Roland, but the ruling was she got a piece of the net on her follow through there. And with Weyburn closing in this race to 15, had that call not happen, it certainly would have been a big momentum boost for Weyburn to get a big play like that, but point goes to the Sundogs. It'll be 11 serving 12 when we come back here. What a third set. Were you expecting that between these two teams after the first 2 sets that we saw?
No, not really. Not really. I think both these teams won it pretty bad, and you know, at 15U, there's a bright future for both these programs, and yeah, I mean, either way it goes, it's pretty exciting to watch.
Teams take to the court.
Here we go, girls, here we go.
Haven Carson serving for Swift Current, 11 serving 12. Carson sails it just over the net. Chandler Dickey blocked by Ariel Freeman. And it's 12-12 with Carson serving. The stakes are high. And are we going to have a timeout here? Yeah, Luke Guest calling timeout. It's a chess game between the coaches and an athletic competition between the players here. Plenty of timeouts. You see Luke Guest talking to his team and the coaching staff of Hebert, Keln, and Chufu strategizing things with the Swift Current side.
Yeah, we're pacing. The girls are like, hey, how's it going?
12-12. 15U girls championship final. The Conexus championships at the Hank Rise Soccer Center in Saskatoon. Haven Carson. Her third serve of this series. Carson over the net for Roland. Schmidt, Dickey, Kelm, Freeman, Chufu. Wall bomb, and it hits the ceiling, and the Sundogs have a 13-12 lead. And another timeout called by Luke Guest, who just does not want any momentum to go the way of the Sundogs.
Unfortunately, here at Hank Rise, we don't play by U.S. rules, so if the ball hits the roof, it's out.
That ball sailing just into one of the beams here at the Hank Rise Center. Just a quick timeout for Luke Guest and crew as his Weyburn Rush are ready to go. Sundogs 2 points away from championship gold. Weyburn Rush certainly have other plans, though. 13-12, Haven Carson ready for her fourth serve of this series. Sent over the net from Weyburn. Freeman setting up Wall over the block. And Weyburn tries to set up Roland for the big hit. She elects to set it over. Pushed over the net by Wall. Roland sends it to the back. Keln is there. Freeman. And now Chufu just inbounds, and the Sundogs 1 point away.
Got some nice cheering fans up here, Ryan. They're all excited.
Well, for both sides.
Yeah, I think so.
Fans and parents and family from Swift Current and Weyburn here at the Hank Rise. 14-12. Sundogs a point away. Carson sends it in. Dickey. Clausen. Dickey. And sent over by Carson after Keln recovered. Roland tips it over. Blocked. Whistle blows. Point. Sundogs. And the Sundogs have their day in Saskatoon. Championship gold for the team from Swifty.
I was kind of speechless after that second set. You didn't really expect it. A testament to that team. I mean, they both fought really hard, and some things always don't go your way with referee calls and things like that. But yeah. Kudos to both teams, a solid effort for both these programs.
And you see the emotion on the court right now with the Swift Current team after capturing that gold. The Sundogs take it 12-15 in the third set.